Now, a part of this global story in the market certainly is China. And then there was this. Chinese migrants are rushing to find a way to the U.S. southern border before the, quote, doors close. That's according to a new report in the Wall Street Journal. They write the, quote, possibility of former President Trump's return piles pressure on those fleeing life under Xi Jinping as Bolivia becomes the new jump-off point for a 7,000-mile trek. Chinese migrants are now reportedly starting their journeys to the U.S. southern border from as far away as La Paz, Bolivia, where visas are offered on arrival. Ecuador, which was a popular access point for Chinese migrants, suspended visa-free arrivals for Chinese nationals at the beginning of last month. Let's bring in Gatestone Institute senior fellow, author of The Coming Collapse of China and China's Going to War, Gordon Chang. Gordon, your reaction to these moves?
Well, China right now is going through a very, very difficult time, and the Chinese people have basically just given up on their society. So we're seeing these migrations of Chinese out of their country, and it is accelerating. And it's not just to the United States, it's elsewhere. So clearly, as they can see, President Trump might be reelected in November, and that's why the reason they're rushing our borders right now. And in addition to that, I'm sure that the Chinese regime is taking advantage of that and filtering its operatives among this inflow of migrants.
President Biden is expected to meet with his national security team in the Situation Room today ahead of this anticipated Iranian attack against Israel. Secretary of State Blinken reportedly telling his G7 counterparts yesterday that attack could start as early as today, Monday. Now, Gordon, China is the biggest purchaser of Iranian oil. Will an impending war in the Middle East, or at least a severe escalation, change their buying?
It could very well. First of all, the Chinese manufacturing sector is not doing well. It's actually contracting from all that we can tell, especially from the PPI, Purchasing Producers Index. The other thing, though, is that if there is a change in administration in Washington, we're going to see the United States actually start to enforce our sanctions on the purchase of Iranian oil. The Biden administration hasn't done that. And Cheryl, the stakes here, you were talking about the global stock sell-off. Well, that could lead to a global downturn, which could lead to a global war. After all, the Great Depression preceded World War II. And so we've got to ask, what is around the corner for us? Are we going to see a conflict around this planet?
Liz Peek is on set. She's got a question about that Chinese economic story. Liz, go ahead.
Good morning, Gordon. We have seen mounting criticism of Chinese officials not taking any steps to really boost their economy, and in particular to boost consumer spending in China. I understand sentiment is very negative, but that clearly is the way they have to go. And I think one of the reasons that the market sell-off is so broad and so global is that the economic slowdown is so broad and so global. So China has to step up. China has to take the lead, perhaps, in turning this around. Do you think there's any chance that Xi Jinping is actually going to succumb to those pressures?
Very, very little. Beijing announced a 20-point plan on increasing consumption, but all the points were superficial. There's nothing structural. Xi Jinping does not believe in empowering consumers because he wants to build his wartime economy, and he does not believe in giving Chinese consumers a say in how the economy goes. So just because of his ideological reasons, we're not going to see China do what is absolutely necessary, which means the Chinese economy will continue to erode. And their debt crisis is coming because they're now having the beginnings of their 2008 downturn. So this is just going to aggravate all that we're seeing in markets around the world right now.
Maria spoke with former President Trump last week about his plans to impose tariffs on China and other countries. Watch.
How do you use tariffs as a weapon for national security? And what other countries aside from China are you considering? So
one of the things I want to do is
on?
have a reciprocal tax. Okay, if they charge us 100% of the car, we charge them 100%. Hard to believe that we haven't done this. Number one, I think they're great. You take in money. If China's charging us 100%, then we don't charge them anything. You know what happens? They say, we don't want your cars from America. We want you to build your factory in China or other countries. It's not just China.
Are you considering putting tariffs on other countries in addition to China?
Yeah, sure. Any country that mistreats us. But what I want is a reciprocal act so that because every country mistreats us, just so you understand. Every country, including our allies. Our allies are the worst.
Gordon, there has been criticism about this idea of increasing tariffs on China simply because that would potentially increase inflation in the United States.
Yeah, I know a lot of smart people say that. They said that in 2018 when Trump imposed his tariffs under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974. They said that prices would increase, but they didn't, because we know that China, through various means, absorbed 75 to 81% of the cost of those tariffs. And China right now has actually even more incentive to do that now, because Xi Jinping, who just does not like empowering consumers, has only one option, and that is to export more to rescue his economy. That means he needs access to our market. And by the way, we see this persistent deflation in the Chinese economy. So really what we're going to see is basically China's going to again absorb these costs. And the smart people in New York and Washington, again, they're going to be wrong about this.
Gordon Chang, it's always great to get your perspective. A lot happening around the world. We appreciate your voice today. Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you, Cheryl.